Adobe Photoshop, how to create an animation in 6 easy steps. Step 1, setting up the scene. Before we begin our project, we're going to open up a new file and give it a memorable title. In this case, Animated GIF. To begin our project, we're going to first set up the scene for our video. So we're going to start by making a floor. Once we have the floor set up, we're going to add a box that will eventually be part of the final creation. So when you first have your scene set up, you should see a floor and a box in front. In step 2, we are going to begin adding layers for our final animation. Adding layers can look confusing at first, but it is important to create a snapshot of what the final product will look like in order to create each step in the process. In this case, we're going to be creating a moving ball that eventually falls into the box. So on this first layer, you'll notice that I'm adding in my red ball. When we're adding layers, there are 2 ways to go about it. The first way is to go to the toolbar at the top of the screen, click on New, and this will bring up a new drop-down box. From New, you click on Layer. If you look on the right-hand toolbar, each time a layer is added, a new drop-down will appear with the layers. Clicking on the eyeball icon on the left-hand side of each layer will hide and show layers as it is. The second way to add a layer is by simply adding a new image. Notice that each time I add another circle to the screen, another layer is added to the toolbar. Now that each layer is in place, we will begin editing in the animation toolbar. In order to access the toolbar, select Window on the top screen. A drop-down box will appear, go down to Animation and click on it. Once clicked, a toolbar will appear at the bottom of the screen. This is your animation toolbar. For simple animations, there are 2 features to note. 1, the adding and deleting of frames. Second, adjusting the seconds on each frame to make sure the animation is timed correctly. For this animation, we are going to set each of our frames to 2 seconds. Step 4, showing and hiding frames. When talking about showing and hiding frames, it refers to the action of showing the image on a frame and taking it away by clicking on the eye next to each layer. Doing this will allow us to control each frame on the animation toolbar. Each frame will represent a new action in the overall animation. Therefore, each frame must show the animation in a new position. Notice the ball moving. To add a new frame, simply click on the Add Frame button on the bottom toolbar. Once a new frame added, simply choose the layer that you want shown on that particular frame. At this point, be sure that each frame shows only the image that you want showing by making sure that only specific eyes are clicked. Once each frame is set up, do one final check to make sure each of the frames are set to the same number of seconds. In this case, 2 seconds. For step 6, we're going to do our final walkthrough before we export the final product. Now, what I am looking for while I am doing this is that each of my frames shows exactly the image that I want. So I'm going to cross-check my frames with the layers to the right, making sure that only the image that I want to be seen is showing by making sure that there are no extra eyes clicked on. Now that I've made sure each of my images are where I want, I'm going to check my time so that each frame is set for exactly 2 seconds. Our sixth and final step is how to correctly export your final product. You go to File, but instead of clicking Save or Export, you're going to click Save for Web and Other Devices. Once you see this second screen come up, it's going to export your file. You can give it a few minutes to load. Then you're going to make sure a couple things. One, you're going to make sure that your drop down is set to GIF, and then you're going to save it. When you save the file, make sure you save it somewhere, like the desktop, so it's easily found. Then you'll wait a few minutes, and your final product will be exported. Once everything has been saved, you'll be able to go onto your desktop, locate your final, and then see your finished animation.